We sat in that silent darkness. I felt my baby dreaming. His breath was Lindy and me saying goodbye. His breath was my grandfather's breathing. His breath was my father loving us. His breath was my breath. We breathed as one. I hear Dad come into the room. I wait calmly. There's nothing else I can do. I'm not afraid. My breathing is easy. I feel steadied, relaxed, and alert. Whatever my dad has decided, whatever he decides, I can't know whether it's right or wrong because I don't really know what is for the best. Maybe death is nothing like I saw that day when the dog died. Maybe death is simply flying free forever. I just don't know. Hey, buddy, Dad says. He comes to my bed, lowers the side, and sits next to me. He's quiet. He reaches down to the foot of my bed in the corner where the quilted pillow lies. He grabs the pillow and sets it in his lap. My eyes happen to focus on the pillow. Mom made the quilted cover years ago, maybe even before Dad left us. There's a pattern of checkered blocks, light blue and off-white, and a thin band of dark burgundy along the edge. That dark reddish band of color reminds me of the way blood looks in the black and white movies. I'm remembering a part of Dad's poem, the night he almost ended it all. I remember Earl Detroit's description of killing his son. Dad says, his eyes sad, I hope you know I love you. I've always loved you. He pauses, careful in his words. I can tell he's rehearsed some of this. He shifts the pillow nervously in his lap, his hands kneading the cushion. He reaches over, takes my hand. Double jointed, he says, setting them on the pillow on his lap. He gently bends my thumbs into right angles, bends his own too, just you and me. I think the words, I love you too, Dad, trying to will them into his mind. Dad breathes slowly, staring at our hands. He's trying to maintain control, fighting back his tears and looking at me. Sean, I've always loved you, he repeats, his voice soft and trembling. The weight of his words and thoughts seem to tug on him like a necklace of concrete blocks. He squeezes the pillow hard, blood draining from his knuckles. I know I say I love you too easily, and that the words collapse in meaning when they're said too many times. But no one will ever know what I mean by love as I say it to you, unless that person has gone through what we have, unless he's going through it right now. Dad breaks down. Through soft sobs, he struggles to get the words out. I hear his words. Never does a day go by when I don't think about you. Never does an hour pass when I don't wonder how you are, how you're feeling. The word love doesn't touch what I feel about you, for you. He pauses, regaining his composure. I will the words, I love you too, over and over. My eyes happen to shift to his face. I watch his expression as he talks. I've never noticed before how much older he's getting. His skin is smooth and he's still handsome, but he looks almost frail. His eyes look like they've seen too much sadness. The creases around them are deep. He says, when I think about you, Sean, my heart breaks one moment and is at peace the next. When I think about you hurting, I can barely even breathe. My chest aches so badly. I sometimes pray, just let this all be over. He seems suddenly stronger again, almost angry as he adds, when you were born and we were told that you'd have these kinds of problems, do you know I got down on my knees and prayed harder than I'd ever prayed, begging God or Satan or anybody in between to let me trade places with you? I prayed night after night that I could be the one trapped inside your body and that you could take my place. I prayed so hard for weeks, months, that I almost started believing in God. He laughs at his irony. I guess we know how that worked out. His voice turns hard. I could never find words strong enough to express the hate I felt toward God when those prayers went unanswered. It took years for me to sign in on that armistice. God was patient, he sighs. Nothing is ever easy, is it, Sean? Nothing is ever like it seems. You know, none of us really knows you. I mean, it takes as much faith on our part to believe that you're retarded as it would to believe that you're a genius. He chuckles a little at that one. Well, maybe a genius is pushing it. But you know what I mean? What if you understand everything? What if you know what I've been thinking of doing, but you can't do anything about it? He searches for the right words. I see the pain in his face and body, shoulders down, neck stiff, his hands quivering. So many answers you can't provide. But does that mean you don't understand the questions? What would you tell me to do, Sean? I dreamed about you the other night. I dreamed that you talked to me. I can't remember what you said. Were you happy? Sad? I can't remember. He seems tired from all his words. I don't know what to do, son, he says, his voice exhausted. I watch his chest rise. It's as though he's lifting himself up one last time, a final stand. I see the pillow in his lap. He pauses and takes a deep, slow breath. Has it all come down to this? With his thumbnail, he unconsciously tugs at a loose thread on one corner of the pillow, sliding the thread over and over between the nail and the flesh. My eyes have been shifting all over the place, but now suddenly, as if by some miracle, I look up directly at my dad. Our eyes lock. I see in my father's expression that he is staring back at me. We are somehow together again, like that night in my dream when we spoke. Dad stares not just at me, but into me. In all my life, we have never been like this before. Sean, he says softly. Son, he begins. Tears come back into his eyes again as we sit in this strange, impossible moment. I love you, Dad says. Again. I call the words out silently from the deepest part of my heart. I love you too, Dad, wishing I could say it, wishing he could hear. But before either of us can speak again, I feel crackle, crackle, crackle. I can't tell what's going to happen next. My seizure begins to spin slowly through me. What will my dad do? Whatever it is, in another moment, I'll be flying free. Either way, whatever he does, I'll be soaring.